A pair of critical junctions on the offseason calendar loom large for the Tennessee Titans. The 2025 Scouting Combine begins in less than 2 weeks at the end of February, and free agency kicks off soon after on the week of March 10th. At the top of the Titans' to-do list, circled, highlighted, and bolded, is finding a new quarterback. It's going to remain the marquee talking point for this team until they finally make a move. That could come as soon as the beginning of free agency or as late as the opening night of the draft in April. It's also a very real possibility that a move is made in both arenas, pairing a rookie with a veteran. A lot can change in the next couple of pivotal weeks. Who becomes available, when they become available, what the market competition looks like, and how the team feels after in-depth rookie meetings are just a handful of the critical variables in play. With everything I've seen, heard, and researched since the end of the season, I think it's time to empty my Titans quarterback notebook. So with that being said, let's talk through their options on the board as they are today, ranking what I believe to be the Tennessee Titans quarterback priority board ahead of the Combine. If you're part of the Tennessee faithful, you know just how many years the Titans have shaved off your life with the emotional roller coaster of sports. Or maybe the roller coaster of life is messing with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals. The new year is a blank space for you to write a new story. BetterHelp makes it easier to get started. They are our incredible sponsor for this video. Regardless, if you have a clinical mental health issue like depression or anxiety, or if you're just a human going through a hard time, therapy can give you the tools you need to approach your life in a very different way. That's where our sponsor, BetterHelp, comes into play. BetterHelp's mission is to make therapy more affordable and more accessible. And this is an important mission because finding a therapist can be really hard, especially when you're limited to the options in your area. Easily switch therapists anytime at no extra cost if it's not the right fit. BetterHelp's platform makes finding a therapist easier because it's online and remote. BetterHelp can match you to a professional therapist in as little as a few days. Plus, with our link, you get 10% off your first month. Start fresh any day of the year with BetterHelp. Click the link in the description or go to betterhelp.com/ATOZsports and get 10% off your first month of therapy with BetterHelp. At the top of their list is Matthew Stafford. Tennessee would love nothing more than to somehow land Stafford and roll into 2025 with him as their guy. It's hard to blame him considering how Stafford remains a top 5 pure pocket passer in the league. His age and mobility are all that keeps him out of the true top tier these days, and he's regularly underrated even still. He's been elevating a relatively mediocre roster since their Super Bowl run. Check out my last video in the description below to hear more about the Stafford situation that's ongoing in LA. But the bottom line, Tennessee would be thrilled to land Stafford somehow. He'd be their undisputed starter for at least 2025 and would open them up to go all in on Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, or a trade down option at the top of the draft. I believe he's their top option if the price is right, but that price seems tricky. This may be a longing they're unable to satisfy logistically. Number 2 on the Titans' quarterback priority board, Derek Carr or Sam Darnold. While I'm including these two in the same tier of preference, their situations aren't all that similar. Let's start with Carr. He's a similar story to Stafford in the sense that the league isn't sure he'll be available, but I think he does present a different opportunity in terms of doubling down at quarterback. The Titans have multiple connections to Derek Carr from his time with the Raiders, most notably head coach Brian Callahan's relationship with him. Now, former Eagles OC Kellen Moore just took the head coach job in New Orleans, and it remains to be seen whether he'll want to make Carr a part of his future plans. If he's an option in March, the Titans are going to be seriously interested. The Saints' method of moving on, whether it's via cut or via trade, could be the determining factor in how strong the Titans' interest is. What I think makes Carr such a strong option is the fact that he's the best veteran option you could attain while still drafting a quarterback in the first round. There are always interpersonal dynamics at play here, but Stafford is above that subjective double-up line, and Carr is just below it, in my opinion. I subscribe to the theory that almost nobody in the NFL spends enough capital on taking quarterback swings. The upside of being good at that position is infinitely higher than any other position in the game. Aim to be richer at quarterback than you think you need to be. This is, for what it's worth, a hallmark of the Ron Wolf school of NFL team building, a school that Chad Brinker and Mike Borgonzi both come from. Now for Sam Darnold. He's the first quarterback on this list who seems safely more likely to be available than not. The Titans aren't closed to the idea of Darnold. It'll just depend on what his market looks like. There's no question he's going to be the highest paid free agent quarterback this spring, but the competition for him may not be as crowded as you think. The quarterback-needy teams at the top of the financial flexibility pyramid are the Titans, the Raiders, and the Giants. These are 3 of the 4 teams firmly in the running for the top 2 quarterbacks in the draft, when you include Cleveland picking second overall as that 4th team in the mix. If two of them end up with rookie quarterbacks, that means only one or two of them will really be in the running to pay Darnold. Of course, the order of operations here matters, right? We'll have mostly sorted through this veteran market before draft day is here. But draft plans will inform how involved these teams are in the bidding for him. If I had to guess today, his deal would look something similar to Baker Mayfield's contract. $35-ish million on 3 to 4 years with an out for the team after 2 seasons. The Raiders, though, are the team most likely to drive that number up. Because when you look at their options, he's really the only one where they control their own destiny and have a reasonable shot at landing their guy. It's been made public this offseason how new infusion of ownership cash flow, headlined by shadow GM Tom Brady, who I'm only half joking about, is emboldening the team to be big spenders this spring. I know Las Vegas is expected in league circles to go hard in the Darnold sweepstakes. If the Titans somehow win that battle, though, he'd be their undisputed starter. The deal Darnold is going to demand is going to dictate that. I think a Darnold signing eliminates any possibility of drafting a top quarterback this year. Number 3 on the list, Cam Ward or Shadir Sanders. Here are the rookies, and make no mistake, the Titans aren't out on these guys. It's true that there isn't an obvious guy you latch on to early, like Caleb Williams was for the Bears, or like Brian Callahan has recently said Joe Burrow was for the Bengals. Perhaps the best way to explain the pre-combine feeling is they're rookie curious. The next 6 weeks or so, when the team will travel to the combine, to their pro days, and conduct their 30 visits, matter immensely. What the Titans' ultimate game plan is won't be solidified until the final 2-ish weeks before the draft, but it'll be primarily molded by this upcoming stretch of interaction. Getting their hands on these guys, both on a field and in meeting rooms, is a massive part of the evaluation for the Titans. They've made it clear they're supremely interested in each player's mental makeup or nervous system, as Brian Callahan has put it. It takes legwork and in-person interaction to feel good about those things. As for the reason why I have Ward and Sanders together at 3rd on this list, I believe there's a real lack of consensus inside the Titans building so far. It's a healthy attitude of open-mindedness as they head into the most critical portion of draft season. Number 4 on the quarterback preference list for the Titans are all the other veteran options. Now, I'm not here to tell you the Titans are all the way out on any veteran not named Stafford, Carr, or Darnold, but I do believe the rest of the veteran options are a good deal further down their list from those 3. The Titans just aren't crazy about a Justin Fields, an Aaron Rodgers, or a Jameis Winston right now. They're poor fits to lead this team in 2025 for various reasons. Fields just isn't a good fit for the offense Brian Callahan is trying to run. Winston's exciting, but he does nothing to fix their biggest issue, which is turnovers. And as for Rodgers, well, his reputation precedes him. The Callahan regime isn't going down with that ship. Now, it's perfectly possible you see one of those passers, and let's throw Kirk Cousins and Russell Wilson into that mix as well, on the team next year. But a signing of one of them in March does nothing to inform us of whether or not they'll draft a quarterback in April. In fact, if anything, I think it makes it more likely they're leaning quarterback in the first round. Tennessee wants an upgraded veteran option on this team next year, regardless of whether they take a rookie or not. Perhaps that won't be in the cards, but they're going to try. Could one of these players be the experienced leader, potential bridge option on the roster who allows a rookie to sit if need be? Absolutely. And finally, at 5th and last place on the Titans quarterback preference board, all the other rookie options. Simply put, the Titans are not enamored with anybody in this class aside from Sanders or Ward. This was made pretty apparent when media spoke with Callahan and new GM Mike Borgonzi at the Senior Bowl. The depth at quarterback in this class is pretty non-existent in the eyes of many, and the Titans seem to be included in that school of thought. So sorry, Jackson Dart and Will Howard and Max Brosmer fans. I wouldn't hold my breath on seeing those guys in two-tone blue this year. For A to Z Sports Nashville, I'm Easton Freeze.